CBC plays defense for the Liberals on refugees. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.Media. I know that no one, absolutely no one, is shocked that the state broadcaster is out looking to protect their Liberal paymasters. But the latest example, it is actually leaving me shocked. They've got a piece out trying to debunk something being circulated by average Canadians on social media. Circulated by average Canadians worried that Syrian refugees are getting better treatment than the most vulnerable here at home. Now, unfortunately, CBC not only plays defense for the people that have promised to give them an extra $150 million per year in funding, they also fail at basic fact-checking. The headline on the story reads, "Do government-assisted refugees receive more money for food than Canadians on welfare? Federal, provincial officials debunk claims circulating on social media." The piece then proceeds to tell us that Canadians, the citizens that pay CBC's bills, well, they're distributing false information on social media sites like Facebook and Instagram. Let me read to you a long quote from the report. It says, "The Post claims government-assisted refugees from Syria receive $61 a day for food compared to welfare recipients in BC who are said to receive $3 a day." Then it quotes, "A Canadian welfare recipient in BC, for example, receives only $3 a day for food, while our government will spend $15 per refugee for breakfast, $16 for lunch, $30 for dinner per refugee. Funny how we are willing to spend more money to feed people instead of helping our own first." Federal and provincial officials told CBC News that the figures are simply not correct and federal monthly support for Syrian refugees is based on provincial and territorial welfare rates. Is that really true, though? Well, the truth is somewhere in the middle. CBC is at pains to point out that government-assisted refugees get the same food allowance as any Canadian would under the provincial welfare program. Now, that's true for any refugee living in the community, in a house on their own or with the whole family, host family. But is that the whole story? No. We know that back in December, the government asked for bids from hotels near the Toronto and Montreal airports to provide short-term accommodations for newly arrived refugees. Here's the official request for proposal. On page 3, under Statement of Work, it says, "Canada requires hotel accommodations of approximately 300 rooms daily in each city of Toronto and Montreal for a capacity to accommodate approximately 600 refugees per night." There are a lot of requirements in this request for proposal, and any bidder has to show that they can provide these rooms up until March 31st, 2016. That's a lot of hotel rooms. But what about the issue of food? It's clearly spelled out. Quote, "For meals, Canada will reimburse the contractor per person per meal up to the maximum prices listed below. Service charges 15% and applicable taxes are extra." Now look at the chart. Clearly says the successful contractor will be reimbursed up to a maximum of $15 a day for breakfast, $16 for lunch, $30 for dinner. That's per person, and tip or service charge and taxes are on top of that. So let me ask you, are the average Canadians circulating this on social media completely wrong? No, I'd say they've got more right than CBC does. Yes, they miss out the difference between those in the community and those in the hotels, but so does CBC. And despite their billion-dollar subsidy and favoured government status, the state broadcaster can't even look up the easily available, much-discussed contract proposal that's still posted online. Oh, and another funny point, CBC actually quotes Nancy Chan, an immigration spokesperson, to debunk the claim in their story. Well, she's the same official quoted in the original media story that helped start this going. Back in December, National Post quoted Chan as saying, "As we gear up for more arrivals, we want to ensure that we have the necessary hotel rooms to accommodate." And despite being led to the hotel proposal, the one showing the government will spend $61 a day, more money on food, for some refugees anyways, than vulnerable Canadians get. Despite all that, CBC couldn't find that proposal or bother reporting on it. Then again, with CBC, it's never about the facts, it's about the agenda. And right now, that agenda is protecting their patrons, their paymasters in the Liberal government. They wouldn't want to jeopardize that extra $150 million a year now, would they?